Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome here to Assembly Judiciary at this late time in the day. Welcome to those that are here in Carson City, as well as anyone, I don't see anyone in Las Vegas yet, but anyone that's watching through Nellis or our YouTube station. With that, Committee Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Assembly members Cole. Here. Dahlia. Here. Gonzalez. Here. Gray. Hanson. Here. Hardy. Here. LaRue Hatch. Here. Marzola. Present. Moore. Here. Nadeem. Present. Orant Liquor. Here. Roth. Here. Urick. Here. Chair Miller.
Here, and please mark Assembly Member Gray absent excused. With that, just a few housekeeping issues about how today's meeting is going to go. First, I'm going to ask you to turn down your electronics. Also, reminding folks that you may see us reading and going through materials in our electronics. Please don't take that as a sign of inattention. It's just the way that we are processing and researching. Members, right now, what's being passed out to you is the primary work session document that talks about all of the changes. We are not taking time to include all of the pieces that typically go in a work session document, but just the bullets of the amendments. So a few things that are going to happen is, one, we will have public comment, but public comment will be limited to 30 minutes. I will also say that we have Congressman Amodei that is here this evening presenting an address to us. So we actually will need to, if we're not finished, we will need to recess at 4:45, go to the address, and then come back for the remainder of the meeting, if necessary, depending. For those making public comment, we would ask that you keep your comments to 2 minutes each. And as I said, it will be limited to 30 minutes this evening. And of course, anyone making public comment will, it's necessary to say your name and to spell it so we have it correct for the record. A few things I want to clarify on this bill before we actually get into the changes is, as many of you know, Assembly Bill 381 was brought forward by Assemblymember Hardy. We heard it a little while ago, but what happens in the process as we approach deadline, which, as you know, was Friday, is amendments come and go and change at rapid speed as we approach the deadline. And so we, as chairs, we take vote counts individually just with our members to see where our members are at. One thing, again, I want to clarify is this bill was never put up for a vote. What we were referring to is, did we have the votes internally in order to vote it out of committee for committee passage? As amendments came at the last hour, there were joint efforts between stakeholders. They were working on amendments late into the evening on Thursday. And as with a few bills, sometimes amendments work in a different direction and members make decisions in different directions. As I had stated Friday morning with my caucus judiciary members, that I understood that in no means, at no time, is there anyone who doesn't want to address the heinous crimes and acts of animal cruelty. But sometimes the process doesn't allow. When you get amendments at the last hour and you're just reading them quickly and don't always have time to process it, especially if the amendments removed or reduced some things that you actually were comfortable with. So as I told the members, just because a bill, and I also did an interview on the news the other day saying this too, just because a bill doesn't make it past passage doesn't mean that the issue or the cause won't. In this case, we were able to actually get a waiver granted so that this particular bill, in its original entirety, was able to be resurrected, and that's what we're working off of. So it is still Assembly Bill 381. As we go through this, know that it had already been amended a few times. So what we did today with our amendments, where we based it on the initial amendments that were presented to us, the final product that was presented to us Thursday. and we built from there. So with that, we're going to try our best, because we know that there's a lot of public interest in what did the bill look like on Thursday night, Friday morning, when people were making those decisions, and what is the bill looking like now. We believe that we have brought you a much more intense, robust bill than we had before. And keep in mind, just because this is what we're presenting today doesn't mean that this is exactly how it will look at the end of session. This is how we're presenting it to get through committee and hopefully out of the assembly. But of course, the Senate, the process, if it passes out of the assembly, will start over in the Senate. So this is where we are today with it. And so with that, I'm going to ask our policy analyst to take us through the amendments.
Thank you, Chair Miller. For the record, Cesar Mogarejo, Committee Policy Analyst. I will say that as nonpartisan staff of the LCB, I can neither support nor oppose any of the measures that come before this committee. The bill, as the Chair discusses, Assembly Bill 381, which is related to animals and sponsored by some members Hardy, Hibbets, and Senators Scheibo et al. There is an amendment, and for the members of the committee, there's actually two conceptual amendments that are attached to the work session document today. The first PDF is an amendment that was submitted by the Nevada District Attorneys Association. This was emailed to all of you on Thursday evening, late into the night. And then there's a second conceptual amendment that was provided by the chair and several members of this committee. And for the members of the public, I will note that the entire document will be uploaded after today's hearing. And then so members, if you have access to the document that was provided on Thursday, I will kind of be going back and forth, identifying which amendments in this document before you were proposed by the original amendment from last week and what's being proposed today. And then so, as I mentioned, there's two conceptual amendments. The first amendment is to delete sections 1 and 2 of the bill as introduced, which define torture and cruelty to animals and establishes criteria for determining a person's responsibility for allowing or permitting such acts. Amendment number 2, this is to amend subsection 1 of section 3 of the introduced bill to remove language concerning permission from the owner or certified veterinarian to destroy an animal in a humane manner. Both of these amendments were submitted by the District Attorneys Association. Amendment number 3 is to amend subsection 4 of section 3 to require a peace officer to forfeit the animal to a local government if the owner does not request a hearing within a certain time frame or cannot be found within 5 business days of posting notice. The local government must then decide on the animal's disposition, including humane destruction or transferring ownership to an animal rescue organization, shelter, or capable individual. This amendment was also included in the document from the District Attorneys Association.
Although I will say a change we made to that is we added 5 business days because it only said days. So we added 5 business days.
Amendment number 4, this is in the new document received today. This is to delete subsection 5 of section 3 of the introduced bill, which provides that an officer is not liable for actions arising out of the taking and humane destruction of the animal. Amendment number 5, which is from the new document, which adds new language to define humane destruction, torture, and unjustifiably maim.
I would just like to add that the reason why the section was taken out about liability for peace officers was because we removed the ability for police officers to euthanize an animal.
Amendment number 6, which is from the new document, which is to amend NRS 574.110 to clarify the circumstances under which a person who abandons an animal is guilty of a misdemeanor. Amendment number 7 comes from the District Attorneys Association document, which is to amend subsection 1F of section 4 to specify the circumstances under which the prohibition against abandoning an animal applies and removes the language that ties the prohibition to NRS 574.110. Amendment number 8, which is part of the new document, which is to amend subsection 4 of section 4 concerning the penalties imposed to provide that a person who willfully tortures or unjustifiably maims or mutilates an animal is guilty of a category C felony as provided in NRS 193.130. A person who kills an animal under circumstances demonstrating malice aforethought is guilty of category B felony. A person who makes the amendment actually makes section 4 sub 2 a gross misdemeanor if done with malice aforethought, otherwise currently a misdemeanor, and provides language to ban animal ownership in the future. If a person is guilty of a misdemeanor, they'll be banned for 7 years. A person guilty of a category C felony will be banned for 15 years, and a person guilty of a category B felony will be banned for life. Amendment number 9, which is part of the new document, adds new language to provide an affirmative defense that the person reasonably believed they were engaging in reasonable discipline of the animal. Amendment number 10, which comes from the District Attorneys Association, which is to amend subsection 1 of section 6 to add language to clarify that the provisions of NRS 574.050 through 574.510 inclusive do not prohibit a person from granting humane relief to an animal that is gravely injured. Number 11 comes from the District Attorneys Association document, which is to amend subsection 2 of section 6 to provide that if the arrested person does not request a hearing within 5 days or the owner cannot be identified in the time frame, the animal is forfeited to the local government. Local government may then decide on the animal's disposition, including humane destruction or transferring ownership to an animal rescue organization, shelter, or another capable individual, ensuring flexibility in humane treatment of the animal. And again, just like the previous example, this the new document changes this to 5 business days. Amendment number 12. Actually, the remaining amendments come from the new document. Amendment number 12 adds new language to the bill authorizing the court to order an order of protection against a person charged with a violation of animal cruelty pursuant to NRS, and grants the petitioner the exclusive care, custody, or control of the animal for which the order intended to protect. Amendment number 13 adds new language authorizing the court to order the defendant to participate in appropriate counseling, education, rehabilitation, or treatment. Amendment number 14 adds new language authorizing the court to order an animal to be placed under foster care. And number 15 adds new language providing that individual defendants are required to undergo a psychological evaluation and complete relevant counseling. And amendment number 16 adds Assembly members Marzola and Miller as primary sponsors. Amendment number 17 adds Assembly members Dahlia, Howdagi, LaRue Hatch, Moore, Nadeem, Ortlicker, Roth, and as you were, that was supposed to be Yeager and Roth as co-sponsors. And Chair Miller, I believe that's all the amendments.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate as you're just learning and processing about the amendments as well. Thank you so much for that, going through it so quickly, and for, yes, catching just that Speaker Yeager was left off, but the intent was to add him on as a sponsor as well. So with that, members, any questions? Not seeing any questions. Assembly Member Hardy, would you like to make any type of statement?
Just to say that I'm very pleased to see that this bill will be moving forward, so that as I stated from the beginning, the intent was to seek justice for Reba and to be the voice for the voiceless, those that are harmed, abused, and killed, that can't speak for themselves, and that her death will, although we can't bring her back, that this will hopefully provide accountability and save other animals that won't have to suffer as she did. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. I just want to point out to everyone, there was in the original proposal of the amendment that was set forth on Thursday to amend, there was a section in the amendment that requested a repeal of existing law. We are not accepting that repeal either because it is important. It defined what abandoning an animal was. And we wanted, so we are not going to accept that part of the amendment to repeal it because we wanted to make sure it was there. If anything, that existing law, we just changed it to make sure that it was intentionally abandoned and that you could not abandon. It talked about an animal that was hurt or disfigured or maimed, but also you cannot abandon a healthy animal at all. So we wanted to make sure it was more inclusive in the language. With that, any additional questions? Okay, then with that, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to amend and do pass. I have a motion from Vice Chair Marzola. Do I have a second? I have a second from Assembly Member Cole. Any additional questions or comments? Not seeing any, I will take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And the motion passes. And I will assign that floor statement to Assembly Member Hardy. You're welcome. Thank you. With that, that concludes our work session, but the last item of business we have today is for public comment. So if there's anyone here in Carson City that would like to make public comment, again, I ask that you state your name and spell your name for the record, and please keep your comments to 2 minutes each. So starting here in Carson City, is there anyone that would like to make public comment? Not seeing anyone. Is there anyone in Las Vegas? Also not seeing anyone. Broadcasting, will you please open the lines?
Chair, the public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, with that, then I will close public comment. I just want to thank the members. Even though we appeared to be on the floor and in all day long, I just want to thank the members for all your thoughtful input, your creative ideas, your pragmatic concerns, trying to address animal cruelty from as many scenarios and situations that we could possibly come with, and to truly capture those who are hurting animals. And so really appreciate your work. And think that this is obviously creating a piece that everyone was able to get around and support, and having a much more robust piece, measure moving forward. And so with that, thank you all so much. I'm glad that everyone's talent and ability and creativity was able to be reflected today. And with that, I will go ahead and adjourn. Except for y'all know where you have to be in 5 minutes. We have to be on the floor because Congressman Amadei is here. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.